Hey everyone, we're out at Road Atlanta with pre-track days. I'm out putting some time on the R1, getting ready for the Moto America Stock 1000 round coming up next week. And a nice guy named Sean, this is his first time at Road Atlanta on his S1000RR. I came by him one session and he asked if I would help him out and if I had any tips when I was behind him. I didn't necessarily remember going by him, so I offered to take him out for a lead follow session and see what I could do to help. So I'm by no means a coach. I still have plenty of things I'm working on, especially on this particular track. That's why I'm out here. So take everything with a grain of salt, but wanted to try and impart any knowledge I could for Sean. So let's get into it. So coming up turn one, we're going to go ahead and pause the video in a few different places, but right here we need to enter a little bit later. So he's going straight for the apex of one and not letting the bike essentially carry enough momentum to get up the hill towards turn two in the chicane. And this has, second and third order effects later on, but we want to look for that blend line, get nice and close to the right side of the track so we can stay on throttle, and you can see how much I'm pulling him back in because he's having to cut this corner, whereas I'm making it more of a straight line. Coming into the chicane, things look fine. You really just want to let the bike run out and carry its own momentum. Right here is a little bit nitpicky, but he could turn the bike a little bit more right to make this more of a straightaway towards turn 5. And as I told him, this is probably his worst turn or section of the track. He's not staying wide right enough and going directly towards the apex, compromising the exit of this turn, where you want to really cut the turn off, run the bike towards the exit of the rumble strips and get the power down as early as possible, especially on these leader bikes. And you can just see even me kind of going half pace here, how much I'm able to pull him in. This turn 6 is okay. Turn 6 is one of those deceiving turns where it is much faster than you think. You can carry a lot more speed than you think you can. Now the exit of turn 7, his entry and through the corner was okay, but his exit, he's still turning the bike, and on these big leader bikes you really want to stand them up on the meat of the tire to put full throttle power down as soon as possible and use the power to your advantage. So after a couple laps of following him, I go ahead and pass him. I tap my tail for him to follow me around. I'm going to try and exaggerate at least my personal lap, my personal line around the track. This guy goes wide, I go ahead and go wide with him. I don't want to pass him, and just take it a little bit slower, slow the track down a little bit, make sure I show Sean the right lines, or what I interpret as the right lines. Okay, so coming through the last turn, stay nice and wide left, and again on these leader bikes, get up on the fat part of the tire to lay the power down. I brake at the 2 cone, at least the one that was here on the track this day. Stay nice and wide. Make this corner as wide as possible because you want to get nice and tight to the right, heading in towards the chicane. Bring on the power again a little bit. Head straight to the chicane. Either run over the first rumble or get close to it. Stay nice and tidy. I grab a short shift here. Stay left toward the track. Initiate your turn in on the beginning of that rumble. Stay nice and tight again, make this a straightaway, and then stay tucked right to flop it over into 5 and get yourself a nice exit all the way out to the rumble strips for 5. Turn 6, I grab 2 downshifts here. And then let the bike filter out nice and wide left before you turn it in for 7. I could have done even more there and used more track. Stand the bike up, get on the fat part of the tire. Now top of the hill here, I need to be more left. This is something I personally need to work on, as well as holding the gas on longer till the top of the hill, right about here where you should initiate your braking. This chicane isn't all too tricky, just outside, inside. I like to stay middle to right of the track. It puts my bike nice and left to get set up for the last turn. A lot of people like to stay too left. And then again, the last turn, try and get it over with as quickly as possible and stand the bike up. Okay, now just for reference, we'll head into one of my random laps I pulled from the weekend, chasing down my buddy Lee. Last turn coming on the front straightaway. So I'll just quickly talk through a one lap pace around Road Atlanta. Braking around the 2 cones, stay fairly wide. I could probably have done more there. Stay tight to the right, look at that blend line. Flop it back over, get back on the power just a little bit. I grab one downshift here, run over the rumble, flip-flop through the chicane, grab a short shift, get tight to the left, flick it back over right. I needed to stay a little bit more right there to straighten this out a little bit. Stay tight right going into 5, make this a wide corner, get nice and wide out to the exit of the rumble strips. I grab 2 here, into 6, let the bike filter out left before turning in to stand the bike up and get a good exit. Lee gets a much better exit than I do there. I just was kind of anticipating, I didn't know, and he was getting on the power. Tapping the rear brake over that little hump, bike's want to wheelie. I grab just a little bit of throttle here before the downhill, before I start braking. A little tighter than I would normally enter, of course. Flip-flop through this chicane, stay a little bit mid to right track going over the hill, short shift, tap your rear brake as the bike wants to wheelie. Let the bike filter out left, cut off the last turn, get up on the fat part of the tire and drive out. So that's just one of my example laps. Now the last thing I'll talk about for Sean specifically is his body positioning. If I could make a change, I would love to see his upper body get a little bit more pronounced off the bike towards the inside of turns. His lower body looks just fine. The guy's 6'3", 6'4". I went over to the pit. The dude's huge. So if he could just extend his right arm off the tank, over the tank rather, and get his inside of his upper body towards the inside of the track, that would help him out a lot in riding a little bit less risky, getting lean angle out of the bike, so standing the bike up more through the corners and not having to be on the side of the tire, especially on these leader bikes. And then it would also help him when you collapse the inside of your body to pick the bike up on the exit of turns. That would help his drive out as well. So just getting a little bit more exaggerated with the upper part of the body, getting your head towards the inside of your windscreen or the inside of that turn should help a lot with his riding. Hope you guys enjoyed. Leave me a comment if you have any questions or other tips for me, for Sean, for anybody. Yeah, get out to a track day and go have you some fun. Later.